Coming up on Chtv, we get a glimpse at the CHS Tech Hounds and celebrate Disability Awareness Month.
Good morning, Greyhounds. My name is Gabi Bradley.
And I'm Ryan Powell here with your Chtv morning announcements. Before we begin, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Did you enjoy your e-learning day yesterday, Ryan?
I did. It was good, but not as good as spring break.
As we all know, spring break is at the end of this week.
Yes, Carmel, it is finally time for spring break, but that doesn't mean you can't be safe.
As some of you may know, red tide is a massive factor in Florida as of right now and has been affecting the Florida coast for hundreds of years. It can be toxic for humans and animals.
According to the Moat Marine Laboratory and Aquarium, red tide can largely affect those with chronic respiratory conditions such as emphysema and asthma. It is able to go airborne and travel up to a mile inland depending on weather conditions. It's mainly found on the west side of the state on the Gulf of Mexico, yet that doesn't make it exclusive to that side of the state. It is also seen on the east side of Florida on the Atlantic Ocean.
Red tide is an algae that can have blooms at times where it can stretch over hundreds of miles along the coast. These blooms can either last a couple of weeks or over a year. Fertilizer runoff is one of the most common feeders, and the algae will feed off of that or other foreign substances.
One way you can tell if a beach you're going to is being affected by red tide is if it has a sulfuric or decaying smell.
When you go to certain beaches that may be currently affected by red tide, it will be marked by the signs.
Be sure to stay safe and be aware of the warnings given wherever you go.
In other news, today in the varsity gym there will be a job fair. Over 20 employers are prepared to hire from Bridgewater Country Club, Crew Car Wash, Carmel Swim Academy, and many more. If you need any resume help, counseling has resources to help you in Naviance.
Be sure to get an SSRT pass from your teacher. What a great opportunity to get a job experience right here at school. Now let's send it over to Darion with our sports update.
Good morning, Carmel. I'm Darion Watson here at your CHTV Sports Update. To start us off, Carmel boys lacrosse played 2 games this weekend. The first on Friday versus Forest Hills, which gave the Hounds their first loss of the season with the final of 6-13, and on Saturday versus Detroit Catholic Central with the final score of 8-4. They look to get one more game in this week before the break on Wednesday versus Olentangy Liberty at home at 7 p.m. Sticking to lacrosse, the girls lacrosse team looks to take on Zionsville tomorrow at Zionsville. Before their previous game, I sat down with head coach Mr. Miller about their season. Let's take a listen.
As you move forward, what challenges do you see your team having?
I think obviously the games are going to be different every time you go out there. It's going to be a different opponent and a different set of tactics that they're going to throw at us. But what we want to see different is just attention to detail. I think focusing on the fundamentals is what we've been so strong in the past and where we've had a lot of success. And I think focusing on that and making sure that each play and each possession really matters because, again, at the end of the day, the more possessions you generate, the more turnovers you get, things like that, the more opportunities you have to score. So I think focusing on those and playing as a team is going to be the biggest challenges that we face. And every team does, but I think particularly for this group because we have a lot of really good lacrosse players. So making sure we're spreading the ball and taking advantage of our opportunities, I think is going to be the key part here.
In other Carmel sports news, the boys track team looks to take on HSC at HSC today at 5:30 p.m. Carmel girls track and field placed first in the HSR indoor finals on Sunday. Way to go, Hounds. Lastly, Carmel baseball looks to play in their first game of the season versus Zionsville at home at 6 p.m. They also look to play tomorrow versus Deerfield at home at 5:30 p.m. Make sure you come out and support your Hounds. That's all the sports news I have for you today, Carmel. David, how will the weather be looking for these games?
Good morning, Greyhounds. My name is David Lee. The sun is out today, but it's still a little chilly. It's a high of 49 and a low of 28. It's a good idea to bring your jackets down the trail. Thank you and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks, David. This month is Disability Awareness Month, celebrating people with intellectual and/or developmental disabilities. CHTV's very own Kaylee Schultz got a glimpse into what groups like Best Buddies do to celebrate. Let's go check it out.
And I'm the treasurer, and I also send out the remind messages. To celebrate Disability Awareness Month, we did a Spirit Week where we went over the announcements and we asked students to dress up every day. Monday we did purple for epilepsy, and throughout the week we dressed up as different colors too. My favorite part about Best Buddies at Carmel is just seeing everyone so happy at all the events and making a place where everyone feels welcome here at Carmel. You can join Best Buddies by checking out our Instagram at Best Buddies CHS and joining the Remind. We send out a bunch of updates on there about when events are, and even if it's in the middle of the year, we would love to have you at one of our events.
Thanks, Kaylee. Well, guys, we have a lot of entertainment for you today. Starting off, Daniel Radcliffe, most famously known for his role as Harry Potter, is expecting his first child with his wife.
Congrats, Harry. In Carmel news, the Old Marsh on 116th Street will be replaced with Harvest Market, a new grocery store.
Spring break starts this Friday, and in our next entertainment update, we'll give you some spring break trends you can try on your week off, as well as some tips for last-minute vacation shopping.
Even though we're going on spring break soon, we can always learn. Let's take a look at a story by Michael Speck that can teach students interested in joining Tech Hounds what the team is all about.
So I decided to join Tech Hounds because in past years, throughout like elementary and middle school, I was a part of First Lego League, which is like the FRC version for younger kids, and that uses like Lego Technic pieces to help build smaller robots that compete in. But FRC is really the next step in that progression, and that's why I decided to join Tech Hounds.
Alright, so I decided to join the Tech Hounds because I thought it would be a really fun experience. I'm mechanically inclined, and I like to build things like a robot wing dong here.
So we have a team lead, and then under that team lead, we have division leads, and those division leads then directly are responsible for their kids in their specific division. So there's robot ops, PR, and then program electrical and construction. So robot ops is responsible for obviously building the robot, and then program electrical programs and puts electrical on the robot, and then construction makes the field, and then PR is like our outreach and our sponsors.
All right, the current challenge we're facing this year is how to very quickly score game pieces. So the goal of the game is to score cones and cubes, and we have to do it really quickly because we're trying to get highest ranking points, match points, and go to Worlds ultimately.
I would recommend others to join the team because the community is just really inspiring, and everybody on the team is just so fun to be around. And seeing this robot come from like a piece of paper and like the first thoughts those raw thoughts that have been happening, that happened the first day when the challenge was released, and seeing it turn into a bunch of metal that can actually like work properly and do what you at first thought it would do 2 months earlier, it's really, really inspiring. It's really great.
I would recommend that others join the team because you'll make a lot of really great friends, you'll learn a ton about stuff you didn't know, and that can be applied later in life. Post-high school, Tech Hounds provides very valuable teamwork skills and also really simulates a real-world work environment.
Thanks, Michael, for that Tech Hounds package. In movie news, the new John Wick came out last Friday. So far, reviews are high, and the movie has been called the best John Wick thus far.
I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm definitely going to after hearing all those great reviews.
That's all we have for your entertainment update today. I've been Gracie Prader.
And I've been Luke Anderson. Now let's send it back to the news desk.
Thank you. Happy birthday to everyone listening on the bottom of the screen.
In other announcements, be sure to support your fellow Greyhounds today by cheering them on in the Walk of Champions, which will be happening during 4th block.
And one last reminder, Pet of the Year voting is happening now on our Instagram. Be sure to cast your vote for your favorite pet.
That's all we have for your morning announcements, Greyhounds. Thank you so much for tuning in.
If you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel at CHTV, Carmel Television. Follow our Instagram at Carmel TV and our Twitter at CHTV. I've been Ryan Powell.
And this has been Gabi Bradley.
Have a great rest of your day, Carmel.
Darling, you